Opening day is just a few short days away. Who sits atop my SEC baseball power rankings as we get set to embark on yet another college baseball season? Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast, where we get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. This segment brought to you by our friends over at FANDUEL. Visit FANDUEL.com/SECU to join today and get started with $150 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. Once again, that's FANDUEL.com/SECU to get $150 in bonus bets today. Ladies and gentlemen, we finally made it. Opening day is upon us. The SEC baseball season has officially returned, and these are my power rankings going into the opening weekend of play as the 2025 season gets underway. And we will start at number 16, the Missouri Tigers and Carrick Jackson, a program, guys, that has not been to the postseason since they entered the SEC some over a decade or so ago. 2012 was the last time this program saw postseason play of any kind. And it's probably a long shot they get there this year. Let's be totally honest. I think you have to think about, and Carrick Jackson, very well respected across college baseball. He did great job in his previous stop at Southern. But when you think about the challenges at Mizzou, from a recruiting perspective, from a priority perspective, college baseball is nowhere near the top priority at Mizzou. And in a conference where you're facing others such as Texas A&M, Tennessee, Arkansas, Florida, some of the blue bloods you're going to face on a year-in, year-out basis, and that's who you have to recruit against. Guys, it's the toughest job in the SEC, and it's not even close. So, listen, I'm not saying Mizzou can't pull an upset or two. We've seen it the last few seasons. Heck, last year we saw this Missouri program sweep the Florida Gators up there in Como, but realistically, you lack personnel. You lack the quality of talent you need to compete in this league on a weekend in, weekend out basis. More than likely, another tough season coming up for MIZ. The good news is this: all 16 teams this season will make the conference tournament. So you've at least got that going for you. You will be in Hoover. Outside of that, I don't see Missouri snapping that postseason streak this year or probably anytime soon. Really tough sledding, the toughest job in the SEC. And maybe they could surprise, but being a 2 or 3 seed somewhere in a regional is probably the ceiling for this group. And oh, by the way, you lost your ace going into opening day. So a tough job got even tougher. Mizzou at number 16 in the right spot going into opening day. Guys, at number 15, I've got the South Carolina Gamecocks and how the mighty have fallen, the once mighty, if you will. You think about what this program was a decade or so ago, one of the top programs in all of college baseball. And I think what it goes to show is if you put back-to-back subpar hires together with what Chad Holbrook did, and then, of course, Mark Kingston, that was the big one, it can lead you to the place where South Carolina is. Now, the good news is Paul Mainieri is your head coach. He's the active wins leader in college baseball. And I think he is a guy, he's a massive upgrade from Mark Kingston. And, they weren't completely far off from making Omaha during the Kingston tenure. So you like to think maybe Paul Mainieri, with his wisdom, he retained a lot of the high-quality staff there, brought in some guys of his own. They can do some damage. I just think they lack the guys right now, guys. South Carolina is still, again, one of the best facilities in the conference. Paul Mainieri, he knows what he's doing. He knows ball. But realistically, the weekend rotation not coming together, I think the way the Gamecocks would have hoped, with Dylan Eskew and Matthew Becker manning the 1 and 2. You got TBA in the 3. Eli Jerzenbeck is fighting for the Sunday spot. He's a guy that I think needs to be a dude on Friday nights for that pitching staff to have a chance. And then you look at the lineup, guys. Who is around Ethan Petrie? He's the only guy in that lineup that really scares you. You lose guys like Cole Messina and Gavin Casas. I think it's going to be a really rough year one for Paul Mainieri. And at least right now, in this 15 spot, there are other teams that there are far more reasons to be optimistic about them than South Carolina has right now. So for that reason, I've got the Gamecocks at 15. Number 14, I've got the Kentucky Wildcats. Great story last year with Nick Mingione. Are they too low? Maybe, but I got to see it. Kentucky lost a ton, guys, from that College World Series team. Obviously, they made history last year, not just going to Omaha. You realize, guys, that was the first time in Kentucky program history that in back-to-back seasons, Kentucky baseball had made the postseason. That's how little history they have there. Now, Nick Mingione has proven he does more with far less, so we'll see what they can do. They did pick up some nice transfers in the portal, but I think they just lost so much from that group last year. I think they are going to take a step back, at least going in. I got them at 14. Number 13, guys, I've got the Ole Miss Rebels. This is another one that's really intriguing to me, though, because you think about the weekend rotation. A lot of this depends on what is Hunter Elliott throughout this season, right? Is he going to be healthy? That's the biggest piece. We forget he pitched in the 2022 College World Series Finals. He was a massive part of that team that won the national championship. A lot of new faces, like a lot of these teams, but a lot of new faces for Ole Miss in the lineup. Are these pieces going to deliver? Huge year for Mike Bianco and company. I think you could call it make or break there in Oxford. They don't like to lose. This is a very proud program. I got them at 13 right now because I think if they finish in this 13 spot, Mike Bianco's probably not back next year. And number 12, I've got the Alabama Crimson Tide. I like Rob Vaughn as a head coach, guys. I just, again, from a standpoint of dudes, you lost some key guys on the mound last year. You do have Justin LeBron, the shortstop, who's back this season. I just don't see a lot more than that. So, you're going to notice this group, this bottom third. I think this could finish a number of ways. Right now, I've got Bama at 12. Some people have got Bama kind of on their fringe top 25. I'd have them a little bit lower than that. 12 right now in the power rankings feels right for me. I wasn't high on Bama last year. I thought folks were overvaluing them. It turned out I was right. I kind of feel the same way this year. I think Bama's probably a 13-17, maybe a 14-16 SEC club, but probably not much better than that. At number 11, I've got the Auburn Tigers. Now, of the two teams in the state of Alabama, I think Auburn is the one that could shoot up and break out. I need to see it, right? Butch Thompson's club, they burned me a little bit last year. I was higher on Auburn last year. They fell flat. They're not have a good season. But you look at what they did in the transfer portal as much as anybody. I mean, picking up Cade Fisher on the bump was big. You bring back Ike Irish. You bring back Cooper McMurray. You got some dudes now. Auburn's got some dudes. And if Butch Thompson showed us anything, the likelihood of them having back-to-back subpar seasons, it's very unlikely. So Auburn 11 right now, there's a few teams on this list that I'm like, I'll be surprised they don't finish higher in my power rankings, in the final power rankings. Auburn is certainly one of them sitting in that 11 seed, an 11 spot, I should say. Number 10, I've got the Oklahoma Sooners. Boomer Sooner checking in, coming in their first season in the SEC. I love the two twin brothers in the 1 and 2 spots. Skip Johnson, listen, the thing we know about him, he's going to have a good pitching staff. This pitching staff is going to be really, really solid. You look at the sticks. That's where the big question is for me. Will they be able to hit enough to make noise in their first season in the SEC? I think Oklahoma, too, on a side note, they've got to make a real investment in baseball, right? It's obviously there in football. We know it's there in softball. Basketball and baseball both. Oklahoma's got to figure out what do they want to be in the SEC. That said, they've had some success. 2022, they were right there against Ole Miss in that College World Series final. So this is a proud program. They expect to win. They expect to come into this conference and compete to go to Omaha. We'll see. I think it's going to be an interesting year one for them, kind of middle of the package, if you will, and that's reflected by where I've got them at number 10. Number 9, I've got the Vanderbilt Commodores, and I'll tell you guys, I'm not high on Vandy this year going into the season. I'm just not. Can you hit? I mean, do you have the sticks to keep up with today's game? Listen, it's Tim Corbin's Vanderbilt. They're going to pitch, and they're going to play defense. We know that, right? They're going to fundamental the hell out of you. But that's only going to do you so much. And I know Kentucky last year did it, but it's only going to work so much when you are facing teams, a.k.a. your arch rival down the road, that's hitting 700-foot home runs on a consistent basis. I just don't know, especially in this new age with NIL and the portal, I don't know if Tim Corbin's Vanderbilt can keep up. And that sounds crazy to say because I don't like the way Vandy is trending. They did pick up some pieces in the portal. Don't get me wrong. I love R.J. Austin in that lineup. J.D. Thompson should be a really good piece there in the pitching staff. But I got to see them swing the sticks. That's my biggest thing. I've got to see them swing the bat consistently. Do they have the power to keep up with the teams they're going to face? The pitching is going to make them good enough. It's going to keep them in the fight enough for them probably to be in the postseason. But, guys, my thought on Vandy going in the season is this. I think they're more likely to miss the postseason entirely than make it to Omaha. I may eat my words at season's end, but right now that's where I see the Vandy boys. At number 8, I've got the Mississippi State Bulldogs. And if you've seen my preseason predictions, I'm bullish on the Bulldogs. I like the weekend rotation. I like the pitching staff. They're really, really deep on the bump. I think Hunter Hines in the lineup is extremely underappreciated. Now, doesn't mean State doesn't have question marks, right? After you lose Durangelo St. John, you lose Cal Stevens, you lose Hijack in the lineup. They've got some key pieces to replace, but I like the guys they've recruited. I like the depth they have on this ball club. Big year for Chris Lemonis. I think one of the 2 Mississippi schools is going to pop. I think it's more than likely going to be Mississippi State. Right now, I got them right there in the middle of the pack because they could go either way. 8 feels right, but I expect them to climb these power rankings as we go throughout the season. Guys, number 7, I've got the Texas Longhorns. Biggest thing with Texas, year 1 of Jim Schlossnagle, right? You look at this ball club, and I think what's interesting to the Schloss point really quickly, the pressure on him, I mean, it's Texas, right? They call themselves the University of Texas at Omaha, right? Texas baseball at Omaha. Like that's how they pride themselves. I mean, this is a program that's been to Omaha, I think, 38 times. It's an incredible mark, right? The history, the tradition. You know, I was one that was really excited when the announcement was made, hey, Texas and OU joining the league. I didn't just think football. I thought, my goodness, the tradition of Texas baseball coming in the SEC, absolutely incredible. That being said, this year's team, they're going to smash. I mean, guys like Max Ballou, they're going to Jalen Flores, they're going to smash. Can they pitch? The question, can they pitch? Can they get outs? Are they going to be last year's Georgia, which was a pretty damn good club, right? Top 8 national seed, but had to win games late with the sticks and heroics. And are they going to be able to pitch consistently enough to make some real noise this year? And I think their ceiling is probably going to be controlled by, do guys step up on the mound? They got some transfers that came over. I think one from Indiana State. They're expecting to be really, really good. But how much can they pitch is going to control their ceiling, because we know they've got bats. It's on the mound. They've got the questions. At number 6, I've got the Georgia Bulldogs. Speak of the devil, Georgia. How much can they pitch? We know they're going to hit. We absolutely know they're going to hit. They've got guys. I mean, I know you lose Charlie Condon, but you've got guys from last year hit 17 bombs, 18 bombs. What they did in the portal, Georgia added 16 guys from the transfer portal. You think about Colton Smith in the Friday night role. I like him a lot. Again, Georgia's going to hit. Can they pitch? Very similar to Texas. That's going to control their ceiling. But I'm a believer in Wes Johnson, man. If anybody can do it, get the pitching staff right. And let me go back one, too. Texas, Max Weiner, the pitching factory that is Max Weiner. He calls himself the arm farm. So a pair of coaches that are probably going to determine their team's ceilings, Max Weiner at Texas, Wes Johnson at Georgia. I think these clubs are very similar, but I got Georgia one spot ahead at 6. Number 5, I got the Florida Gators. Love Florida's team this year. Absolutely love Florida's team. And, guys, this is the start for me where, and this was reflected in my predicted standings as well, the top 5 to me are teams that can all realistically win the conference this year. Now, I think if you're separating these teams through tiers, 5 through 1 of my power rankings right now, and my predicted Oregon finish, but 5 through 1 right now, my power rankings, those are all teams in my mind that can win the conference this year realistically. Are there some other long shots? Sure. 5 through 1 for me, my realistic title contenders. I start with Florida at 5. I love the Gators. You know, my biggest question with them is just, is Liam Peterson going to take the next step in the Friday night role? We know it's going to be Peterson, Clemente, Coppola on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. At least that's going into the opening weekend. You know, the lineup's going to smash. I mean, I'm so excited. Even losing Jack Caglione, I'm so pumped to watch guys like Brody Donay, Colby Shelton, the list, Ty Evans, the list goes, the kid, I think it's Blake Sear, the kid they picked up from Miami. He's going to be a great piece. Like, they're going to swing it. They're going to hit the ball to the yard. I trust Kevin O'Sullivan from the standpoint of getting this pitching staff right. There's argument nobody better in the business working with pitchers than what Kevin O'Sullivan has done with the University of Florida. Can they be more consistent this year? This was a Gators program last year, guys, that 28-27 in the regular season, including the SEC tournament. They find their way to Omaha anyways. I mean, this program, they go to Omaha like it's commonplace. It's common practice, right? Like Omaha is the second home of Gators baseball, but they got to be more consistent. They got to be better in the midweek, and they got to get more consistency, I think, specifically from the guys on the bump. That's what it's going to come down to me. And number 4, guys, I've got the Arkansas Razorbacks. They've got the opposite problem that Florida has coming in. Love the pitching staff. I think Gabe Gackel's going to be a star. I really do. Every single year, guys, Arkansas can pitch. I don't think this year's going to be any different. Can they swing the bats, though? Can they swing the bats with any sort of consistency, guys? They were second to last year in batting average in conference play. Only Mizzou was worse. And you think about how good they were in the regular season. That goes to show how great the pitching was with Hagen Smith and others leading the way. So, yet again, we come into the season with the same question. Is it finally the year the Hogs break through under Dave Van Horn and win a national championship? Will they finally complete the job? If you've been following me at all, you know I'm not ready to go there. I've got trust issues with Arkansas. I cannot say they're going to do that. I think they're going to be very good this year, but their offensive upside, what is it? Is Kendall Diggs fully healthy? They've got some other dudes in the lineup. They added, again, portal guys just like everybody else that they need to hit on. They've got the pitching. If they are average hitting, there's a good shot that I think Arkansas wins the SEC this year. At number 3, I've got the defending national champions, the Tennessee Volunteers. Tony Vitello's club. At this point, guys, they don't rebuild, they reload. Now, if you've seen any of my preseason predictions or my Omaha 8, I'm not as high on Tennessee as some others. That being said, these are preseason power rankings or power rankings going in an opening weekend, and I got to put some respect on the champ's name. I mean, I got to. You have to, right? I respect the hell out of Tony Vitello, what he's built. I'm a big fan of Tony Vitello. I love some of the pieces they got coming back with Dylan Dreiling and Hunter Inslee and some dudes, Marcus Phillips on the bump, who's going to be in the weekend rotation, we know. They picked up the Andrew Fisher kid from the transfer portal, who I think is going to be a star for them. 20, 25-plus home run kind of guy. Cannon Peebles is back. I mean, there's some core pieces. My big question for Tennessee, when you lose guys like Christian Moore, Blake Burke, Drew Beam, these are not insignificant losses. These guys were the heart and soul of your ball club last year. It's not as simple as just statistically replacing them. Who were those guys when you run into adversity that are going to serve as what those guys did for you? That's my big question. Tennessee's loaded with talent. I have nothing against the balls. I've had some Tennessee fans out there think I hate the balls. I don't hate the balls. I don't hate the balls. I promise you, I have questions, as I do with a lot of these clubs on here, but I'll put some respect in the champ's name. 3rd in the power rankings going into opening day. 2nd, I got the LSU Tigers. Guys, I love LSU. Love what they got coming in. Jay Johnson and company. The pitching, they've got talent. They're just loaded with talent everywhere. The pitching staff, I think, should be one of the best in the SEC. Bear Jones is going to hit a zillion home runs this year. Milam, Braswell. You go around the diamond, what they added. The kid, the Derek Curiel kid, I think is going to be one of the best freshmen in the conference. The Utah Valley State, his name's escaping me. They added some big-time portal guys that I think are going to make an immediate impact. LSU's just loaded with talent, man. And I trust Jay Johnson. I trust that this club going to be really, really good this season. And so right now, because of that, because of what they bring or what we start the season with in regards to, personnel and overall just the way this club is built, it's hard to find a weakness. It really is. So I'll put LSU 2. And at number 1, I mean, guys, the Texas A&M Aggies, you have to go A&M going in. They're number 1 in every poll. They truly don't have a weakness on paper. Now, does that mean they're going to win it all? Does that mean they're going to go undefeated? It's baseball. They're not going to go undefeated. They may not win it all. They might not make it to Omaha. But going in, guys, they're the best team on paper. And it's really, dare I say, it's not even close. Going in, it's not close. With what they've got on the weekend, with Ryan Prager returning and Justin Lampkin, and They got to replace Oshimbeck and Cortez. I get it, but they got tons of talent in the back end of the bullpen. Obviously, again, when you got a guy like Prager leading your rotation, you're gonna win a lot of game ones, so you're gonna win a lot of series, right? And then you look at the lineup. I mean, Jace Lavallette's the Golden Spikes' favorite. Gavin Grahovic is back with him. Caden Kinn is back. I mean, it's an embarrassment of riches, top to bottom, in that lineup. By the way, you add the Hensler kid from Penn, who they called the Ivy League Babe Ruth. I mean, there just is not a weakness on paper. Now, again, it's on paper. There isn't a weakness for this Texas A&M team. So for that reason and many more, number one for me in the power rankings. Are these subject to change? Abso-freaking-lutely. You bet your ass they are. Welcome to SEC baseball. I'd love to hear from you guys. Your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? How would you power rank the clubs of the SEC going into opening day 2025? Guys, that's going to do all for me. Before we get out of here, though, I do want to tell you about our friends over at FanDuel because, as always, we're brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. When the game tips off, the NBA action is just beginning on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because FanDuel is your home for NBA live betting. So even if you missed the first few minutes of the game or want to bet on a fourth quarter comeback, you can make your picks from the first whistle until the final buzzer. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. However you want to play, now is the perfect time to join. New FanDuel customers get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/SECU to join today. That's FanDuel.com/SECU for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Must be 21 and up and present in select states. For Kansas and affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, are 18 and up and present in D.C. First online real money wager only, $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Once again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. Cannot wait for opening day, and do not forget, we will be in Arlington, Texas at the tournament at Globe Life, the Shriners Children's College Showdown. Texas and Ole Miss from the SEC being represented. Of course, they've got teams like Clemson, Louisville, Oklahoma State, and Arizona in the tournament as well. But again, we will be there in person. The SEC Unfiltered Tour embarking on opening weekend in Arlington, going to be an absolute blast. But once again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. Once again, these power rankings on a weekly basis for you, and there's going to be a lot of debate and banter because they are subject to change. Again, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast, wherever you get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms, as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. Till next time, I'm Chris Phillips of SEC Unfiltered. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in, and we will catch you on the other side.